What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another banger on Bardo's Breakdown. Hope you guys are doing well. Beautiful here in lovely Playa del Carmen. Let me close this door because we got some construction. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Hope you guys doing well, man. Got a few things to talk about today. I got a chance to watch Michigan threat. They took Purdue to the woodshed last night. That was ugly. I mean, it was a great game because Purdue fought back and they scrapped and stayed in it. Trey Kaufman-Renn, that was as aggressive as I've seen him offensively, I think, ever. I mean, he had 27 points. He tried to keep Purdue close, but they just didn't have any answers. Michigan is just, guys, they're loaded. Man. All right, there we go. So 6 players scored double figures for Michigan, and the backcourt, 5 guys combined for 53 points. Trey McKinney is playing extremely well now. He's their best shooter. He's Michigan's best perimeter shooter. Namari Burnett's having an outstanding year. He's not getting enough credit, in my opinion. LJ Kaysen has come on and really started playing well. Roddy Gale Jr. did an outstanding job yesterday, especially defensively on Braden Smith. He had Braden scratching his head, didn't know what was going on. Very impressive. And then Elliot Cadeau with 17 points and 7 assists. Cadeau was 3 of 5 from three-point land. Seth Davis in studio last night with the Big Ten Network made a great point in saying that Elliot Cadeau was a non-shooter. People would back up in the paint. They almost treated him like Ty Rodgers a little bit in terms of backing away defensively and allowing him to shoot, encouraging him to shoot. You can't do that anymore. 3 of 5 from 3 last night. He was outstanding in their victory over Purdue. Purdue lost 2 games now at Mackey Arena this season. That's very unusual to see. When I look at this Purdue team, I see a good team. I don't see a great team. I just think Fletcher Lawyer is a defensive liability. They have to hide him. The only time that Purdue got back in the game is when CJ Cox, Harris, TKR, I think Braden was on the floor with them, and Benter. That was the lineup that got Purdue back in the game. Well, got the game to within single digits, because for the majority of the game, it was a double-digit lead for Purdue. But just Michigan took Purdue to the woodshed. Beat them up on the glass, especially in the first half. There was one possession. Michigan got 3 offensive rebounds, and I believe it ended with a 3-point make by Namari Burnett. I don't see any weaknesses with this Michigan team. It's going to be fantastic when Michigan and Illinois hook horns, because I don't know if that will be for the Big Ten title, but that will definitely be for Big Ten bragging rights, because clearly those are 2 of the best teams in the Big Ten Conference, and obviously Michigan number 1 in the country, and deservedly so, especially with their performance last night in a fantastic win against Purdue. All right, moving forward, the Illini are taking on USC. I believe that's this evening. Couple things to watch out for. Here's what I want Illini fans to watch out for. Okay, I've been saying this all season long. The perimeter quickness of opposing teams will cause a problem for the Illini. They're big, they're tall, but they're not quick. They don't, outside of Bam, perimeter defense is just not a strength of this team, and that's okay, because they've been able to disguise and hide and work their defensive schemes to make up for that lack of lateral quickness. But with Bam back in the lineup, him harassing people, I would imagine they're going to put Bam on Baker Mazzara. but they might put him on Arenas as well. Elijah Arenas is really coming on. I mean, this USC team would have been something if Rodney Rice wouldn't have gotten hurt. He was averaging 20 points a game before he went out. I think he only played 6 games this year. But if Rodney Rice is in the lineup, along with Chad Baker Mazzara and Elijah Arenas, I mean, Cam Woods he hit Iowa for 33 on the road. Not a great shooter, but he can get downhill on you. So this is the main thing that I think if USC is going to have a chance to upset the Illini, they have got to go crazy on the perimeter. They've got to live in the paint off the bounce. They've got to really collapse the Illini defense and try to create things in the paint. USC is not necessarily a great three-point shooting team. They like to get downhill on you. Arenas is a bucket, but I think that Arenas is one of these players that have blinders on, and Baker Mazzara does the same thing sometimes. They get into this tunnel vision where they're not really looking to set other teammates up. The only time they pass is if they don't have a move or a shot. They don't make a move to set up a teammate. They make a move to go and score. And if they can't score, then that's when they pass. So I'm sure the Illini coaching staff will have some defensive schemes that will make it a lot more difficult on Baker Mazzara and Arenas to get clean looks on the perimeter. Mazzar, I think is a young man's name. Ezra Azar, he's a tough, undersized guy in the paint. He's going to be scrappy. He's going to be, he's going to fight, but the size differential on the front line of the Illini versus USC will be the determining factor in the game. I don't see Illinois really having any problems with USC, if I'm going to be honest. I wish I could have said this when I was working on the air. Just give people like the real. It's like, and I'll eat my words if I have to. I've done that all my career. I don't see any scenario. It's going to have to be an unlikely scenario. Heaven forbid there's an injury, unusual foul trouble, something happens, somebody's off or something. I don't know. I just don't see a scenario where USC will beat the Illini. Okay. Now that's why you play the games. But the way the Illini have been playing now that Bam is back in the lineup, I see this as a tune-up game for the Illini, continuing their improved defense. They did a hell of a job against Indiana in their last game defensively, holding the Hoosiers to 51 points. The Hoosiers had been getting at people, guys. They beat Wisconsin at home in overtime. They beat Iowa, and they beat someone else coming into that Illinois game. And the fact that Illinois was able to shut them down in the manner in which they did was super impressive. Super impressive. Shows me that Bam, Kylan Boswell, doesn't really need to score. If he comes in and scores when he has the opportunity, but defend like his life depends on it and set his teammates up, this is a dangerous Illinois team, guys. Dangerous. I mean, like Final Four dangerous, in my opinion. Okay? I think that touches on it. Now, this is the last thing I want to talk about, and I'll get to your questions here in a second. I don't know if you guys saw where UCLA got handled at Michigan State last night. Carson Cooper is going in for a dunk, and what's the young man's name? Stephen Jamerson of UCLA. I don't think this young man plays a lot. Cooper's going in for a dunk, and Jamerson is trying to block it. He ends up fouling him. Cooper falls to the floor, but he pops right back up because he's upset about the foul. So whether it was a flagrant one or not, okay, fine. But Mick Cronin then is going to embarrass this kid, taking Stephen Jamerson, taking him out of the game, ripping him along the sidelines, and then sends him to the locker room. Okay? The kid is already embarrassed because he's trying to compete. He's going for a blocked shot. I really didn't see what the flagrant nature of the foul was. He didn't hit Carson in his body. He went for a block from behind, hit him up top. Carson misses the dunk and falls because he's at the rim. He loses his balance. He falls, but he pops right back up. He's not hurt. He's not hurt. He's not injured. Okay? And so, to me, you've got a coach at UCLA that's been bitching about the transfer portal and NIL. He finally got NIL money. Now you go and recruit the kids that you want to play, and they're not responding to you, Mick Cronin. So you're going to kick your own player out of the game instead of putting your arm around a young man and coaching him and saying, look, I understand you want to be aggressive, but in that situation, in a 20-point blowout, let Carson Cooper go. But knowing Mick Cronin, if that kid didn't show effort, he would have. You can't win for losing if you play for Mick Cronin, guys. I don't know what it's going to take for the UCLA administration to let this behavior slide. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable behavior. Okay. Now, they hired Mick Cronin. They knew what kind of coach and what kind of person he is. Right. I don't think Mick's a bad guy. I've talked to him a few times. I hate the way he coaches, though. I hate the way he embarrasses his kids. And he is never held accountable. He's always talking this crap about his players being held accountable. Well, you recruited them. You brought them in. If they're not responding to you, that's your damn fault. Who's going to respond to a coach when this kid is busting his ass to try to make a play? Look, I've been there as a freshman. I don't know if this kid's a freshman or not. I've been there as a freshman. You're doing everything you possibly can to get on the floor, first of all, then to stay on the floor. You're trying to give maximum effort. You get caught up in this situation. Guys, the Breslin Center has a ton of energy inside that building. And as a player, you can definitely get caught up in that scenario. But to have your own coach pull you out of the game, embarrass you along the sideline, and then send you to the locker room, that's unacceptable, guys. UCLA administration, you need to do better. If you're about the welfare of the student athletes, like y'all like to call them, if you're concerned about the welfare of your student athletes, then this is unacceptable behavior. There needs to be a suspension, fine, or both. But the fact that this behavior is allowed burns me up. Because if I'm that kid's dad, me and Mick Cronin might have to meet after the game. Because that's those type of experiences, when you do that to a young man, that can affect them the rest of their lives. Okay? And people might call that soft. I don't give a damn. Just because you bring a player into your program, you don't have the right to treat them any kind of way. That's unacceptable behavior. And the double standard needs to stop. NCAA, UCLA administration, Big Ten administration. You want to have a certain decorum. You want to call yourself the Big Ten Conference? Well, act like it. Hold your coaches accountable. See, guys, I'm an expert in pattern recognition. I don't need to know if something happened. I can see that it's happened. A couple of years ago, the Big Ten Conference sent out an edict to their head coaches about bench behavior and decorum. Now, if Brad Underwood can sit his ass on the bench and remain composed, because he's as animated as any coach in the Big Ten. If Brad Underwood, now it helps to have a hell of a team. I get it. Brad Underwood's got one of the best teams in the country. It's easy to sit your ass on the bench when you got guys that can play like this, right? But if Brad can sit down and change his decorum for the better, UCLA, what are you doing? You're not following the conference edict. You don't see anybody getting up, losing their freaking mind. Izzo gets up and does his machinations and mannerism. You've never seen Izzo do a kid like that. Never. Let me think. Look, I'm going through the Big Ten Conference in terms of the coaches. Dana Altman, no. Eric Musselman, who I know and I'm real cool with. Eric's a maniac on the sidelines, but he's even chilled out, right? Fred Hoiberg, never. I don't really know the coach at Iowa real well. He's intense. He gets after his players. I'll leave him out because I don't have a lot of history with him. But all the other coaches in the Big Ten, I'm trying to think. Even DeVries at Indiana, he's not crazy and demonstrative and embarrassing his kids and embarrassing the brand. UCLA, you've got a world-class brand. You're gonna allow Mick Cronin to tarnish that, and you just turn the other way when he does stuff like this. This isn't the first time. And then to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, he's being interviewed in the post-game interview. And he gets pissed at a reporter for asking a question. And to the reporter's credit, he didn't back down. He bucked up because Mick Cronin was challenging him. So whoever this young man was, he was like, dude, I don't care if you coach at UCLA. I asked my question. And so Mick Cronin's like, you're gonna raise your voice at me? Hell yeah, he raised his voice at you. Because Mick Cronin somehow thinks that he's Teflon Don in these types of situations. You can get your ass whooped too. That's probably the problem. He hadn't had his ass whooped enough because he acts like this. This is not Big Ten Conference decorum. This is not UCLA Bruins decorum. Something needs to be done. Okay, I'm off my soapbox there, but man, that ticked me off. I don't like seeing players. I don't like seeing young people handled like that. It's unnecessary. What's up, Crumbs? Good to see you. I know, man. I was shocked at this. Ohio State beat Wisconsin last night. Ohio State they're desperate because they got to get to the tournament. I think, I won't say that. Ohio State needs to get to the NCAA tournament this year. That was a critical win for them. Devin Royal, Bruce Thornton stepped up. I think Thornton had 27 and Devin Royal had 25. What's the sophomore, the guard? His name's escaping me, but I don't know if he came back yesterday, but he's been injured. But that's a big, big win for Ohio State. Well, Carol, here's the thing. Cooper pops up because he was probably frightened that there was some contact when he's going in to dunk because he can't see anything behind him. He gets hit up top. I went back and looked at it. Stephen Jameson he went for the ball, guys. He didn't try to hurt him. He's just playing hard. When Cooper goes down, like you said, Carol, he pops back up. These young people, they overact because this is the era of soft play. You touching people, you get a flagrant foul. I don't necessarily blame Cooper Carson, but it was an embarrassing scenario all the way around. It didn't have to go down like that. I don't know. It just bothers me. Crumbs, I agree. And, I heard Seth Davis say something, and I thought Seth was going to try to stand up for Mick Cronin, but he called him out. He said, look, Mick Cronin has had some missed calls in recruiting. He's not getting his players to respond the way that he wants to. And Cronin said, look, Seth Greenberg said that's on Mick Cronin. His inability to get his players to play the way that he wants to, that falls on the coach. So I was pleased to see that. I was curious to see what people were going to say according to that. Man, you gotta love Mexico, bro. They come through with a loud horn. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I mean, but we get this. This is part of living in Mexico. It's great, but when you're trying to do live shows, you get some You get some background in there. So that if you hear it, that's what you're hearing, guys. Yeah, I don't think any of those guys would send their players to the locker room. Oh, what's up, Hiltzman99? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. What's up, Don? Holla, yo. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's interesting, Carol, that a senior would do that. I would think a senior would understand in that scenario to kind of let them go. But it's an unfortunate situation. Young people make mistakes, and it was a teaching moment, but I think it went totally over Mick's head. Hey, Dan, to be honest, man, I'm in paradise. I only tiptoe back into college basketball. I watch the Illini. I follow the Illini. I'm on them, but the rest of college basketball, I see it. I see Big Ten stuff. I see national games, but I wasn't aware that anything happened at JT Toppin because the last I heard about Texas Tech, they were beating Arizona in Tucson in overtime. So I didn't hear any update me on what happened with JT Toppin. Of course, Dan. Of course. Look, Michigan is outstanding. They don't have many weaknesses, but the Illini don't have many weaknesses either. And the way that Illinois shoots the three, okay, puts teams in precarious positions defensively. You're either going to stay at home and Keaton Walker's going to eat you up off the bounce, or in the ball screen action, he's going to get the matchup and take you. If you stay at home, Kylan Boswell's going to walk you right to the hole. I see a lot of scenarios where the Illini can beat Michigan, no doubt. Now, Michigan looked unbeatable last night because they put it on Purdue, but Purdue's perimeter defense is suspect. Illinois showed that. It showed up again last night. I think I told you guys, Michigan combined for 53 points on their perimeter last night. They got anything they wanted. Got to the rim, got clean three looks, got in the paint area, created. They got anything they wanted. So it'll be interesting to see how the Illini try to attack this Michigan defense because their defense is stellar. Carol, I think I don't know about Koa Pete, the young man, the outstanding freshman for Arizona. He went out with an injury against Texas Tech over the weekend. I don't know his status, but if he's back and he's healthy, Michigan, Arizona, and I'd have to put Houston in there as well. Even though they were beaten at Iowa State beats everybody in Hilton Coliseum. But I like this. I like those three teams. I like Michigan, Houston, and Arizona. And then right after them, I'd have the Illini, Duke, and there's another team that I'm off the top of my head. Texas Tech looks like they might be able to do something. I'm not crazy about Iowa State. It's something about Iowa State interior defense that I don't know. Illinois schematically with Terrence Shannon and them in the, what was that, the Sweet 16 matchup? Yeah. No, it was in the second. Why am I getting this? No, it was in the Sweet 16 matchup. And Illinois schematically, cut Iowa State up. I see that same scheme that the Illini do offensively. If there are other teams like that, they would give Iowa State problems. So it's going to be interesting. It will certainly be interesting. Dan, this is interesting because Brad Underwood's kind of been hush-hush on Andre's ankle injury. I'm not sure I doubt that he would play at USC. just based on the language that I'm hearing coming out of Champaign, I don't know. I think that they're trying to be overly cautious because they understand that they have a real shot this year. So I don't know. That's a good question. If I had to guess, I'd say no. I would hope that they would allow him to travel with the team, practice, workout, get his workouts in, get his rehab in, but stay in LA with the team, but not necessarily. Okay, so Carol says, Underwood says it's a game time decision. So we may see him. I don't know. I would like to err on the side of caution. Stojakovic is extremely important to the Illini moving forward. He doesn't appear to be the toughest player. So a guy like that, who a little bit delicate, I'm not saying he's soft, but I'm going to call him delicate. I think they want to err on the side of caution with him because he's a downhill threat that the Illini will definitely need if they want to advance in the big dance. All right. All right, guys. I think I got to everybody's questions and comments. Didn't want to be on here too long. Okay, miss a few more. Oh, okay. Crumb said he's read where he can miss a few more. We'll see. But I just want him to be healthy. I want the Illini to be healthy going into March because this could be a special run, guys. I've been saying that since I started doing this Bardo's breakdown. I think, again, the more I watch this Illini team, the different ways I've seen them win. They play totally different at Purdue than compared to their last home win against Indiana. They started the game going in the post. I loved that. They were running the guards from strong side, screen the big, bring the big from the weak side to the strong side in the post and go to work. They did that 2 or 3 times in the first half to establish their offensive prowess at the rim against Indiana. I like the versatility I'm seeing with the Illini. I like their defensive intensity, especially with Bam being back in the lineup. I love the fact that they're going to play Michigan this late. They're going to get a great test, and then hopefully they'll get more tests in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. But stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Thank you for tuning in. You guys enjoy the game this evening, and I may come back before or after the UCLA game this weekend. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great hump day. And until next time, holla, y'all.